Hello, one is Psycho Rider Rage here, bringing you some Toku news. So I figured we'd do some Toku news since a lot of things have happened this whole week until now. And we're mostly going to start off with... sorry about that. Something happened real quick. So yeah, we'll start off with some Kamen Rider Geats news and work it down with what we have at the moment, what we saw until today. So obviously today, Saturday, on Twitter, they posted the rest of the 4 riders. So now we have 8 riders in total, which was confirmed. If you saw my recent video, like I said, possible 8 rider. And we do have our official 8 rider, which is Polar Bear. So our first rider is Kamen Rider Ginpin, which is obviously an older man. Now I don't know we don't know the stories yet, but we'll probably know more and more as the show progresses. And then we have Shiru, Kamen Rider Shiru, which is the panda. Now, if that actor looks familiar, he's part of a certain Sentai dancing dinosaurs. He's Kyoryu Blue, the old man that makes jokes. Which is pretty interesting to see him come back to a Kamen Rider series now, since we know him from Sentai. So it's interesting. He'll be playing Panda, Kamen Rider Shiru. And then we got Kamen Rider Mary, which is not a female, but it's a male. So our only female is obviously Nago. Interesting. And, well, and our last one is Kamen Rider Dapan, who looks more younger than the rest of the cast. I believe he's probably a high school student, maybe college student. I would say most likely college student, because everyone in the cast looks a little bit more older. So he's probably like the young gun, the more inexperienced rider, maybe. But it's interesting to know that we have that. I'm kind of curious what their motives are, and what their occupation was, and why they joined the Grand Pinks, the Desire Grand Pinks. I'm kind of curious about it. We also have our another rising buckle, that's Revice. And it actually changes his body-wise. Like, the mouth on the bottom changes, and the chest piece changes, which is interesting. And he obviously has the weapon as well, which is pretty cool. So I wonder if he gets any other riders as well. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this is just part of it. We know he has 01, so he has a 01 rising buckle, a rise buckle, and now he has a Revice one. So I'm kind of curious to see what he gets. But yeah, that's pretty much enough of the Kamen Rider Geats news. I think we'll go on to our next thing, which is our Kamen Rider Live Girls. The Aguilera, the Hana and Sakura team-ups. And we got some interesting news on that as well. So obviously episode 2 came out today, and we got now confirmation of, I believe it's canon. And I've never seen Build, but I know she's part of the team. So, yeah. That I know for sure. But it's interesting to see her in it. It's pretty cool. And it's interesting to see the whole cast. Obviously, Valkyrie's in it as well. But I don't know why she's not in part 2. But as you know, the actress cannot make it. So they only have just the suit and the voice actress. Which is good. That's the read for episode 2. But if you saw the preview for the next episode, a certain actress came back, and I am shocked. And it's none other than Tsukinomi, obviously Sherry, who's been MIA for a good while. Instagram and Twitter, she just disappeared, and no one knows what happened to her. But it's good to see that she finally came back to reprise her role of Tsukinomi, which is actually by far very, very heavy Kamen Rider female cast we got. Some of them are writers and some of them are not, but it's just interesting to see a lot of the female writers or people who took part in the writers who were pretty good at what they did to reprise their roles. And the fact that Sherry came back after being on hiatus for a good, I would probably say like a year maybe a year and a half. She disappeared pretty well, but to see her come back is pretty good. And as you can see, we got 02, Izu's gonna henshin, Poppy, which we haven't seen Poppy henshin since for 5 years, so it's interesting to see that, and Tsukinomi. So it's gonna see all these Kamen Riders going. Now I wish maybe Canon maybe my henshin, I don't know yet, We don't have confirmation if she's gonna henshin or not. But it's interesting. But I believe that's enough of it. But it's good to see a lot of the female cast getting their spotlight. Even though it sucks as a spin-off and not a movie, I wouldn't mind that. But hey, at least we got them all to reprise their roles. And that's interesting to get certain characters who haven't played that role in a while to be back. And our final news, as you know, Kamen Rider Wizard is about to be their 10-year anniversary. And they decided to post this. So we're having Wizard 10th anniversary. Which I'm shocked because, I mean, usually 10 years anniversary go to certain shows that was pretty good. I'm not saying Wizard was good or bad. Some people like it, some don't. I didn't like Wizard as much. I liked the suit. It's just the storyline wasn't really great. But at least it's getting a 10-year anniversary. But it makes me excited for the next anniversary that might come up. And obviously, it's my favorite series, Kamen Rider Gam. Getting a 10-year special, I hope it does. But it's interesting to see Wizard. I want to see what the cast have done for 10 years. Obviously, we know that the police one, she's in the hana Sakura special. So we know what she's doing. But I want to see what everyone else does. We all know Kamen Rider Wizard Haruto actually it's a lot better outside his show. If you saw Generation, Hensai Generation, and other ones, he was there. Like Kamen Rider Gaim, Showa vs. Hensai, he was there as well. He's done a lot better outside his own show, which is interesting, to say the least. But it's good that he's getting that. But when it comes to 10-year anniversary, obviously going to come to SHF figures. And yes, he's getting an SH figure, a newer form, or a newer one. There's also a Kamen Rider W, but obviously it's the anime version. Obviously Futa PI, and it's the anime version of the suit. I do have a question about that, but yeah. What do you guys think of that anime? And what do you think of it bringing people to Kamen Rider? I believe there's a lot of people who are really trashing Kamen Rider W. It's pretty much Kamen Rider, bashing it, saying it's like a fake knockoff or it's like a cheap version. Who are these? Why does Philip don't have green hair like an anime? And I want to tell you guys that anime is a lot different than live action. You gotta watch the live action first. Don't judge the live action, because if it wasn't for the live action, you wouldn't have your anime version. Which I'm glad that at least the anime is bringing people into Kamen Rider, but not for the good reasons. Like, they're really bashing something that's been around for a while because the anime makes it different than the show. But as long as we have people who actually want to get into Kamen Rider, go for it. If the anime is bringing you to watch Kamen Rider, go for it. But don't bash it. Kamen Rider's been around for a while, and I love Kamen Rider. As someone who's from the western side, I really love Kamen Rider for everything it's taught me. And it's very hard for me to... I like Super Sentai, don't get me wrong. But Kamen Rider is something I really love. So to have these figures of Kamen Riders, or like what Kamen Rider brings to everyone, I love it. So yes, I'm glad that at least we're getting more Kamen Rider SHA figures. I already have at the moment. I got Revice. I got Revi, and I'm gonna get Vice soon. I do have Deno Damamotoro. So yeah, and I do have a Spada one. So there's some ones I want to get. But yeah, that's enough news for today. That's all we have at the moment. If anything new comes, I'll make a separate video. But I'm gonna try to bring some Toku news for at least people who are interested in knowing what Tokusatsu is and want to come into it as well. So this is Sakura saying peace.